Okay, so we started the stream with Kin already saying no. Thank you, Kin.
No.
Okay, and we're live. Thank you, Kin, for that most entertaining intro.
Of course. You should expect nothing less from us.
Yes, you know, the one stream Kin decided to start the live stream with pineapples. But yes.
Pineapple.
Damn you. Okay, disclaimer.
You brought it up.
Disclaimer, because of Kin,
We're
he forced my hand.
We're gonna say a lot of bad words. Deal with it. Just hide your kids. Don't let them hear us because we might say some bad words.
You forced my hand. I was supposed to do disclaimer beforehand. But yes, welcome to the two Aimless Geeks podcasts with GeeKs and Kin. We got some interesting topics tonight. Well, Ken, why don't you start us off with, your favorite thing to talk about today? Borderlands 3.
Oh, yes. Borderlands 3. Borderlands 3. So, if you're a Borderlands fan, you've already heard that's coming out, what is it, September 13th?
Yes.
I think 6 days after my birthday, hint, hint. Buy it for me, please. Anyways, but it's coming out on the Epic Game Store. Surprise, surprise. But, okay, so I'm not going to go too far into the whole friggin' Epic Games, debacle and all this, because I'm sure you've heard about it a billion times. It's been all over my newsfeed. I know that. The thing is, every single single piece of Borderlands content has been on Steam. Okay, like every single piece, not one installment, or not even one little DLC has been anywhere else. Well, so people are like, oh yeah, it shouldn't be a problem. It's gonna come to Steam. It's got to. Everything else is here. Well, apparently not. Apparently Gearbox wants to be greedy, and they want that extra money, so they're gonna put it on Epic Games.
Okay, for me, it's not so much that they're putting it in Epic Games, but the fact that they're not putting it on Steam because they want that extra cash, but they're really gonna just put some extra pressure on this game to survive, because all that people are gonna feel is just hate for the game because it's not on Steam.
That's what I'm kind of worried about. I was worried about it releasing in the climate, I guess you could say, the gaming climate as it is now. I've said it on many forums, and on Facebook and many groups I'm in. I really hate to say it, but now is not a good time to be a gamer. I mean, or maybe it is. I mean, maybe this is the turning point for. Maybe it's just the point where we're going to say, you know what, we're not going to put up with your crap anymore. So maybe it is a good time, maybe it's not. But right now, it doesn't feel real good.
It might very well be. I mean, we've seen some bullshit with EA with Anthem, and it wasn't just Anthem. That was also the developer as well. It wasn't just them. I can't talk today. It's been 2 weeks since we've done this. Lots of things have happened.
One of my big concerns is, okay, is Borderlands 3 going to be compatible with Steam, with the Steam release when it comes out? Will I have to buy another copy on Steam just to play with my Steam friends, or is it going to be cross-compatible? That's a big worry for me, because on one hand, I want to play the game as soon as it comes out, because I want to experience the game without any kind of spoilers or anything like that. I just want to experience the game as it should be. Now, if I was to wait 6 months, it's going to be everywhere, and it's just like when you don't want a new movie to be spoiled. Like you're like, oh, I just won't watch it. I won't watch this. But with social media now today, it's very hard to not get something like this spoiled, because it's going to be in a headline. It's going to be this. It's going to be like, oh, well, did you see the ending of this game? So I really don't want to wait, because I feel like it's going to ruin the game.
Well, it's not even just Borderlands though, just because like the Epic Games Store, they're trying a lot to get new games on their platform, and like that's understandable. You're trying to make it grow and everything, but at least wait for the next wave of games so you're not stepping on anyone's toes, specifically gamers. Like me and Ken, we were playing what was it? What were we playing like the other day?
We were playing Grim Dawn.
That's right. He had bought me a GOG key for myself, and he had the Steam version. Now, the GOG version and the Steam version cannot really communicate with each other, because the people who made Grim Dawn can't actually support their own servers, so they're having Steam and GOG do that for them.
And we're like, okay, well, we'll just get Komachi, and we'll use that to set up a virtual LAN. Well, the other day we go ahead and try and play again, resume where we got left off, and oh, Steam got a new version that GOG didn't. We can't play anymore.
Yeah, Steam got the update, but GOG apparently hasn't had an update in quite some time. Now, this is a problem that game has faced for quite some time. I don't want to get stuck on that, but this is a real problem for gamers, just because like if you want to play with your friends, you can't, because well, you got the Steam version. They now have the Epic Game Store version.
And I mean, this brings up a broader issue, not just Borderlands, but like, say if your favorite game in your favorite series comes to Epic Games, and you know your friends are totally boycotting Epic Games, but you want to play the game, so you buy it. Will you have to buy it again on Steam just to play with your friends? Like, it's a huge issue that I think really needs to be considered when people like, oh, I'm gonna boycott Epic Games because I don't want another launcher on my screen. It's too much to make 2 extra clicks. Like, and yes, I know that's not the only issue with it. Okay, I understand some people think there's spyware on it. Other people are upset that it doesn't have a review system. It doesn't have achievements. Like,
no, there's all sorts of rumors. Like recently, a story broke out about Epic Game Store somehow mining Steam for information that they didn't okay them with.
Well, yeah, Epic's like, oh yeah, we're only like scanning this file to bring your friends over, so you can bring your Steam friends over to Epic and you can add them.
Even if like it's a small thing like that, you still have to ask the owners of the platform.
Exactly.
Hey, is it cool if we do this? Do we have to pay a type of fee or something? Which probably wouldn't have been a big deal.
And the point of them not asking them seems a little shady. I won't lie, it does seem a little shady that they're just underhanded Steam. It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna scan your files, and if it was such a big deal, why couldn't you just say, hey Steam, we wanna get friends over. We wanna be able to have our users scan your Steam friends to be able to add them to Epic. And I'd be like, okay, if I was Steam, I'd be like, okay, whatever, that's cool. So I don't know, it does seem a little shady, but I feel that you guys, if you've been following the Epic Games Store and all of the hype and all of the controversy, I'm sure you understand what's going on. So let me get to another point that I'm really worried about. Okay. Now, Borderlands 3 will have multiple versions, you can pay a little bit more to pre-order it, and you'll get an XP and loot bonus. Which kind of worries me because, I mean, if it's like, yeah, no, I'm worried that it's going to upset the balance of the game.
Well, they're almost insinuating with that sentence that if you get the version on Steam, you're not going to have access to these goodies, and possibly not have access to be able to play with your friends.
Well, they're not even saying that. I mean, that's kind of far-fetched to get from that. But what I'm worried about is, are they going to make loot drops so horrible and experience so grindy like they've done with Call of Duty and all that, where you can literally buy levels because it's so grindy? Are they going to make the game grindy and are they going to make loot drop rarely so that you buy the extra loot, loot and experience?
I mean, this is a fairly touchy subject just because, like, loot boxes in general have been, like, the vein of gamers' existence for the last, like, decade, basically.
Okay, it's kind of touchy if this was not a purely single-player game, okay, that if it was Call of Duty, if it was, like, another competitive shooter, okay, I could see, okay, buy a few levels, buy the experience boost, get ahead of everybody else. But this is a single player experience. So, only thing you're competing with is possibly your friends, but you should be playing with your friends. So, in a single, there is no place in a single player game, in my opinion, for XP and loot boosters. Because
no, they usually have easy mode, normal mode, hard mode, so that you don't really have to worry about experience or whatever.
And I mean, that's fine. But I'm worried that they're going to treat this like a multiplayer experience, like Call of Duty, where you can, pay to get your levels up and get all the better stuff. This is a single player experience. It needs to be treated as so, because I love the Borderlands universe. If you can't hear it in my voice how passionate I am about this game. And I'm sure there's a bunch of other people out there that are worried about the same thing. It just rubbed me the wrong way when they said, "Oh, you get a loot and experience boost if you get this version."
Oh, not only that, if you've heard EA talking and like several other big game companies, they're talking about making games as a service. So even if it's a single player experience and everything, they want to be able to nickel and dime you the whole time.
No. Games as a service are ongoing games where you hit a level cap and then you grind for gear after that. That's a multiplayer open world experience.
Well, it almost sounds like they're trying to bring that into the single player, that when you buy a game, you're not just buying the entire experience in the package. You're buying part of the experience, so they can keep adding DLCs, over the years, even just for that single player experience.
Okay, I mean, Borderlands 2 kind of did that. They had these little micro packs that were like a mission or two, maybe took like an hour, maybe two, but they're only like $5 a piece. And they were fun. They were worth your $5.
I mean, I agree.
Had their own stories and all that, but they were still well within the Borderlands universe where they made sense. It didn't feel like they were just there to make an extra buck. They felt like they were actually expanding the universe. But there comes a point where you have to be like, look, you know, I mean, if you bring out too many of them, then yeah, it's gonna feel like they're just milking it, and like,
I mean,
they're not adding any story or anything.
I mean, look at Blizzard. They cut down most of their team and everything, just so they can, like, you know, like, keep everything going.
Well, that's been a trend. That's been a trend now. Like, oh, we had record-breaking sales. Let's lay off half of our workforce.
Oh yeah, they're like basically looking at everything and see what exactly they need to be able to make a game. You know, what you can actually call a game, and how much people do you actually fully need for it. So you're getting
all I can say at the end of this, people, if you don't like these, I mean, if you don't like these practices, you need to speak with what counts. Your wallet. Do not buy it. Do not share stories about it.
Oh, and do not pre-order. For the love of God,
And
do
don't
not
pre-order.
pre-order.
And even as I say this, I'm very torn because I want to have that attitude about Borderlands 3, but I also want to play the game because I grew up with the Borderlands series and it was just so good and I want more.
I mean, to an extent, I can say that part of the problem wasn't just like on the game industries themselves, but the actual gamers as well. Just because for so long we didn't think we had any kind of power over the gaming industry, so we just let it go. Like, oh, they're a big gaming company. There's no way they're gonna listen to us. But now in this day and age, we have the ability to basically lay comments at their door, like, "Hey, we don't like what you're doing." So I think it's just a long time coming that, you know, we've gotten to this point where we're just not going to take any more bullshit.
And review bombing, I mean, it's because everybody was review bombing like all the other Borderlands on Steam, okay? It's not doing anything. It's not hurting. It's not hurting Gearbox whatsoever. Borderlands is already, it's already making its money because it's just such a good game. It has been. People are still buying it. It's still in the top.
Yeah, but that's the only outlet they have right now.
Steam. Yes, I understand that. Like, yeah, that's the only outlet they have. Well, it's really not. I mean,
when you think of it, no, they're not, because they have their own Reddit page and like several other places where you can actually leave a comment. I mean, you can go to Twitter and, like, you know, leave a comment, like, you know, directly on the page.
I mean, like, and it's not even constructive criticisms a lot of the time. It's like ASCII arts of a middle finger saying "fuck you, Gearbox." That's not going to hurt Gearbox whatsoever.
It's just become a trend to basically just hate on everything.
That's what I'm saying is, though, it's a trend. Trends don't hurt the company.
Yeah, the moment you hear about bad news about a game, everyone's already like, "Oh, we should review bomb this," and people jump on it because that's the popular thing to do. I mean, if you remember back in the day, what was it? I think it was the band like Bowling for Soup or something. No, sorry, it was Green Day. Green Day. That if you were a fan of Green Day, like, people would be like, "Oh, what the fuck? You like Green Day?" Like, no, I hate that shit. But just because it was popular, like the band was okay, so, but there was no reason to hate it. It just became popular, so the same thing's happening now with the gaming industry.
That's the same thing. This has been going on in popular culture for the longest time. I remember when I was growing up, people were like, "Oh, it's cool to hate Backstreet Boys," and
okay, I didn't like
cool you know, I didn't really like them either, but they weren't. I don't think they were deserving of all the hate.
Okay, it was never the music. It was more like, you know, that cute girl in class that you have a crush on. All she talks is about Backstreet Boys.
Well, it was cringy, okay? Like, but you get what I mean. People will hate on things because it's cool to hate on it. And that's been ingrained in popular culture now for the longest time.
Last 20 years or more.
Just like it's cool to hate Razer. Like, it's cool to hate Razer products. Like,
okay,
and then you ask people,
my boss at my old company, for some reason, he hated Razer. He didn't give a reason why. Instead, he made everyone use Red Dragon keyboards. Okay, I have a hatred for these keyboards just because they're very cheaply made. They have a good game-ready look and everything, but when you actually click on the switch, like the switches feel hollow, like you're like typing on a toy.
Okay, but you just listed off 2 or 3 reasons why you don't like Red Dragon. Lately, with I don't like the insert thing here, people are like, oh no, insert brand here sucks. And then I ask people, oh, what sucks about it? It just sucks.
Well, that's all we need to know. It sucks, people. Like, yep, case closed.
I'm like, can you please give me some talking points on this? Could you please tell me, you know, why you don't like them? No, it just sucks. Well, this is literally my experience when I try, because I try and be objective when I look at games, tech reviews, all this. I'm like, why didn't you like it? Oh, it sucks. That's not an answer.
I mean, part of the problem is just like all the different game launchers that we have nowadays. We have the Epic Game Store, we have Steam, we have the Origin launcher, and then we also have the GOG launcher, and then just one for all the like small like game companies out there.
Okay. I'm okay with that, you know, that's fine. You know, because there's already programs popping up that integrate everything in a nice little, I have to do some research, but I know they're out there. That are like, they'll take all your launchers and they'll consolidate them. I'm sure I've heard of one. I can't think of it off the bat, but
to be honest, I think eventually all launchers are just going to become part of like Google Stadia or something.
I don't know, but with the whole Borderlands thing, I just want you all to remember, review bombing is not going to hurt the company. Bitching on Facebook is not going to hurt their company. What's going to hurt their company, and which is going to get them to stop doing what they're doing, is you have to speak with your wallet. And you know what? It's going to be hard for me not to buy Borderlands 3 when it comes out. To be honest, it's really going to be hard, but I'm going to have to come back to this podcast and be like, this is what I said. I had a very hard stance on this, and it sucks that I even have to have this hard of a stance. Like, when I imagined Borderlands 3, I imagined booting it up, getting back into the world of Pandora, and just having fun. It really fucking sucks that now I have to feel bad for booting up that game because I feel like I'm not doing my part in the gaming industry, and that sucks.
Okay. And okay, I think we've said all we can say about Borderlands 3, and we can say several more things about the gaming industry, but we've talked about this for 20 minutes now, so we should probably move on.
Well, it's something that needed to be talked about.
Yeah, but let's move on to Google Stadia, which possibly, just very well possibly, could be like the future of how people game. Like, link in the description if you want to take a look at what it's all about. But Google is making their own console that's not gonna have any like.
It's not a console. It's a service.
Yeah, it's a service. They're not gonna have an actual like like it's not a PS3. It doesn't have a crazy graphics card in it or anything. It's just to be able.
It's not even a hardware box. You're gonna be able to play this.
That's right.
On your Chromecast.
There were rumors of actually having an actual console just so they can bump up a few extra sales. But yeah, you're gonna be able to use Chromecast. You're gonna be able to just go onto your browser. They were talking about if you saw a commercial for like Far Cry 5 or something, that you were gonna be able to click on the commercial, take you into another browser, and you're gonna be able to play a probably like half an hour, 1 hour demo of Far Cry 5 or something.
Yep, and it's gonna be crazy. Yeah, you're gonna be able to game on $150 Chromebook.
Yeah,
imagine that.
No, they actually showed demos where like they showed it working on your phone, they showed it working on a Chromebook. I mean, a Chromebook for God's sakes. Like it doesn't have any real hardware for games, but because their servers are going to handle basically all the actual like computing power and all that and graphical power, your Chromebook would be like just as good to play games.
Yeah. Now, what it really comes down to, if this is going to be successful or not, is can they deliver? I mean, this is a huge undertaking.
That somehow their servers are going to be able to handle a worldwide service where every person is gaming at 1080p, maybe in some cases 4K if you paid a little extra. But like that's really what it comes down to.
The way I look at it is, I'm very skeptical. I really am. Like, I really like the idea of game anywhere on any device, but it seems a little heavy-handed. Like, how are they going to live up to this? They're talking about if your internet is, I think they said, 30 Mbps can do up to 4K or something? I don't remember. Do not quote me on that. I'm just pulling something out of my memory. I don't know if that was right or not. But they're saying that on a decent internet connection, like 50 Mbps, you'll be able to do 4K. Like, you might want to look it up. I don't even remember.
Well, you can go ahead and just go in the description. I left the link to the specific website, so you should be able to watch the video for yourself. It does explain quite a bit.
But the way that they're pitching it is that if you have a decent internet connection, you will be able to play these games.
That's probably how they have to pitch it for now, because I doubt their servers are going to be able to handle the influx of people that are having to be trying this. That's probably why they say you have to have a decent connection.
What a lot of people are worried about is input lag. How long is it going to take to register your button press? Especially on games like, say, God of War, where you need that fast action.
To be honest, that doesn't really concern me, because eventually I know the technology will get there. What concerns me is like what's going to happen to the rest of the gaming industry as a whole, with like one, all these companies having their own launchers and everything. Is it all just going to be on Google Stadia? And another, like the PC gamers themselves, like they're not gonna really need all this like big fancy hardware anymore. So is that hobby just gonna die out because of Google Stadia or what?
I don't know. I mean,
you and me, we love our hardware.
It really depends if they can pull this off. Like, if they somehow pull this off, I mean, I wonder. Like, it's hard to say. Like, could something like this make the gaming computer obsolete?
I mean,
I don't.
there's that, and who knows if like some of the services be like behind a paywall. Oh, I just got a notification for someone else talking about Stadia.
What?
Tech City Yes is talking about Stadia as well. I just got a notification from it.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean,
Yeah.
if they can pull it off, if they can do seamless streaming of games, and yeah, they're showing right here on your screen. They're showing the controller you're going to be able to get.
They're
What it
they're
does,
talking about 8K on Stadia.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's I don't believe it. I'll believe it when I see it. I won't see it because 8K TVs, they're a thing. They're just not mainstream yet.
That's the thing.
But
They can promise all this, but the hardware is not quite there to be able to fully watch 8K video.
The stream is up. Or, I mean, the controller will actually connect to Wi-Fi. And the controller itself will send your button presses and all your input to the servers.
That's right. Like this, the controller is almost like the actual console itself because it connects to Wi-Fi separately. So you'll be able to take that controller and use it on your TV, on your PC, and on your phone, like all seamlessly just by like a button press.
I really want to know what. I'm skeptical. I'm extremely skeptical, especially on the 8K thing. Come on.
They know it's not there, so they can promise whatever.
Okay, we can hardly. We're having trouble pushing 4K at over 100 hertz. You have to have some pretty good damn hardware to do that. Can you imagine even trying to run 8K at 60 hertz?
No. We can do 4K 30. We're not exactly like your average person does not have like decent enough hardware to do 4K 60.
Like, I mean, even if they do have these server farms with all these high-end GPUs in them.
I mean, even if you're not streaming, just playing like a game in general in 4K, like your hardware has a hell of a time in trying to keep that smooth 60 FPS unless you have like a 2080 or 2080 Ti.
Yeah. So it's gonna be interesting. I mean, all we can do at this point.
I mean, part of the reason some people don't want Stadia to really succeed is because, like, will you really own the games anymore? I mean, they could turn off everything with a button press.
Yeah.
Or like you missed your payment this month, so you can't play anything.
Well, that's how PlayStation Plus works. Like, they give out.
Hello? I think we lost Ken there. Mr. Ken? Still connected to the internet. Okay, my mic still works. But yeah, Ken, we can no longer hear you, so you work on that and get back to the stream as soon as possible. Because I'm all by my lonesome and I'm having stage fright. Not really. But I think I'll move on to the next topic. For those who haven't heard, the game Wolcen, it's basically a Diablo 3 lookalike. I'm gonna say lookalike. If you've been following Wolcen for quite some time, like the game itself actually does look, pretty decent and everything. The problem with Wolcen is that the game developers themselves have kind of like left the community in the dust. If you go, I have linked in the description the Steam page for Wolcen. If you scroll down to the comments, the very first review is basically a book-long message on like just the production of Wolcen and like the entire journey, like through and through. Sorry, my mouth is a little dry, but Sorry, really dry. But this person, let's see, Tomos, I think that's pronounced. He's the very first comment. But he's been with the like following the development of like a Wolcen since the very beginning. And at first, everything was going along pretty well and everything. And sometime during the development of Wolcen, they fired like a whole bunch of people. A couple people left, and then after that, it seems like they weren't really like living up to the promises of Wolcen. I mean, it's the same thing's been happening for like a lot of Kickstarters out there. They promised a lot of things, and then halfway through development, they just changed everything that they were doing. But after they fired everybody, what they started doing was apparently copying almost directly from Diablo 3. Like, I have the Wolcen video up here. If you look at the enemy just right here, he resembles the Butcher from Diablo 3. Like, that's just one of the minions that you fight like in Wolcen. Ken, you back? Okay, we can hear him. Or him like bumping around, but yes, it sounds like he's close to being back. But like I was saying, they're just being basically copying and pasting from everything from Diablo 3, and the people who've been backing this game are just like really upset. And it turns out like they were leaving all their comments on the Wolcen forums, but let's see.
Right.
Welcome back.
Oh yes, Wolcen.
Yeah, but Thomas here apparently had talked to the developer, and he said that they basically gave up on even interacting with the forum altogether, and that basically people were just screaming into the void all their concerns about the game, but no one was actually listening. They abandoned that forum and then went to Steam basically and started using that. But as soon as the comments started to get negative about how they weren't keeping up with all their promises, they jumped ship again, and that has been their MO through development. So now they have their own Discord, and sure enough, after that gets too negative, they're probably going to jump ship from that too.
Oh yeah, Wolcen. I mean, yeah, I bought it like when it was in alpha. It just started its combat, whatever they're calling it, combat beta or whatever. I think I paid $15. Because one of my favorite YouTubers, my favorite Diablo 3 YouTubers, Riker, he covered it, and he's like, this game looks like it's got lots of promise. I mean, he did warn, like, just like he does any other game, that yeah, anything can happen in the future, but right now is what I'm seeing, it does have a lot of promise. So I was like, okay, I'll go ahead and support the developers. I'll buy the game. It was only $15 at the time, so it's all good.
Yep. But at the end of this review here from Thomas and everything, like he doesn't want the game to fail. He honestly wants it to succeed. Like if I scroll here to the bottom, let's see, to the developers I talked with, I'm sure you'll see my name, recognize me based on our in-depth chat. I mean, no ill will towards you or your team. I want this game to be amazing. So he's a long-time fan of it and everything. He just feels that the community that's been supporting for so long is getting screwed over, and I have to agree with them. I mean, on the forum that they had, as well as Steam, they've abandoned both platforms because they can't deal with direct fan interaction, and now have their own Discord. So I'm not sure if Wolcen's really gonna pull through and like deliver on the promises that they've been promised since the beginning.
Yeah. And
I mean, it's kind of been the trend lately with a lot of Kickstarters, so
yeah. And
5 years in the making, till eventually be dropped because the person who originally owned the rights to the game basically up and disappeared, walked away with the money, and a different company who normally makes children's games decided to pick it up, and they're actually using their own money to basically pay back people what they're owed from what for the money they actually put into the game. So if
Yeah.
you spent $10, $15 or you pre-ordered the game or whatever, they're using their own money to pay people back who like want a refund, and still trying to bring this game to market. I need to look at the name of the game back after I completely forgot what it was called.
Of what?
This was
What, the company that took it over?
I forget the name of the game in general. Like I saw a YouTube video like probably I want to say a couple months back, like some kind of development hell for like a certain game, like it's like 5-6 years in the making, and then basically the person who owned the rights to it took all the money and ran. Like the people who own the rights to it now, they normally make like games for like Cartoon Network or something, like they're just little kid games. So no one really knows if like the game actually is still going to be good.
Yeah.
My mouth is getting dry. I've been talking too much. I mean, if you look at the top on just the recent reviews, mixed feelings, all reviews, mixed feelings. Like there's a decent amount of people playing, but like no one really knows like what this game is, just because for the demo itself, they didn't really release a lot of story. It was just a lot of go here, kill that quest, go here, collect that.
Well, right now that's all it is just glorify. It's you do different quests. There's no story. It's just kind of to get people used to the content right now.
I mean, I understand it's early access, but for $30, I feel you should get a little bit more than just combat.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they could have just kept it at the $15. I don't feel like it's in a state where it's worth. How much is it right now on Steam?
It's still $30.
Yeah, it's not worth $30 right now.
I mean, I was honestly gonna play this because I saw you live streaming it.
Yeah. And it's a good game. Like the skill system and all that seems alright, you know.
I mean, I do like the skill wheel. I think that's a pretty interesting mechanic for it.
Yeah.
But it seems like it's taking a little bit also from God damn it, I can't remember names today. What's that other like Diablo lookalike basically?
What? You mean Path of Exile?
Yes, there we go.
It's got the branching. Well, it actually kind of, if you really wanna go far into this, the whole branching skill tree and all that, you could trace it back to Final Fantasy X with the sphere grid.
Yeah, it's not so much like just the grid itself. It's just a lot of the aesthetics seem to come like almost directly from Diablo 3.
Well, no, it's using the sphere grid yeah. It's using the like open, grid of skills like Path of Exile, but really, what really got me is I was just fighting it today, and there was a boss, and it looked exactly like the Butcher from Diablo 3.
Yeah, that's what I was just showing them before you
It
signed
had
on.
it had the same skill sets, like it behaved the same way. Only thing that was missing was like the fire right underneath your feet. So yeah, it felt like very lazy design. Like, oh, I'm just gonna take the exact same skill set from Diablo.
I mean, if you look at the review that I was just talking about, he also goes into that as well. That after like a whole bunch of people got fired or laid off, or they quit themselves and everything, that the new people that got hired on, they were basically just told to like just copy and paste whatever's on here.
Yeah.
Like I can't say that that's for sure for like word for what they said, but that's what he goes on to say.
Oh, so yeah. In closing, I mean, I want the game to succeed because I am having fun playing it. It's just I'm so tired of games promising the world and giving
Nothing
in return, or
the appearance of something.
So another thing, do we have any more topics on the that we want to go over?
No, I think this is all we really planned for.
I had one more thing, just a short little bit. The PTR for Diablo 3, the new season, I think it's season 17, just went up last week. And it's going to be, to all you Diablo 3 players that are still hanging in there. I still play the seasons. I played every season since season 1. And it's going to be, you're going to get the LAN buff, what was it? Legacy of Nightmares. It's going to be the season of Legacy of Nightmares, where you won't have to have the rings equipped to get the set bonus, where you get so much power for every legendary or ancient legendary you have.
Actually, that reminds me, I did want to talk about how it seems like game developers today have almost just run out of ideas, where a lot of it's just kind of rinse and repeat. Like up the difficulty, add a few extra monsters, and here's some extra loot.
And yes, that's the next thing that I was going to talk about. You used to be able, your top tier used to be Torment 13. They added up to Torment 16 now, which a lot of people are kind of on the fence about, because at that difficulty, a lot of the big like Riker, Bloodshed, they're all saying like it's going to pinhole everybody into using a specific build for each class that is most powerful to keep up with it. Like they think that a Torment 16 build diversity is going to go out the window, because it's going to be, you're going to need a certain build to be powerful enough to go into Torment 16. So yes, you're gonna get more death breaths. You're gonna get.
I mean, to be honest, I stopped playing Diablo like quite some time ago, though. It was mostly for that reason.
Okay, but for us that are still holding on, it almost feels like, why should we hold on if it's going to be the same old thing every season? Like last season was really fun when you had the Ring of Royal Grandeur buff from the beginning. That was fun because you could add another item to your build, and it promoted build diversity. But it seems like they're backpedaling now, and almost like forcing people into other builds that are just, and I don't know. It's just like, I feel they even extended the season by 2 months, which fans kind of were like, oh, cool. They need some extra time to do some really cool things for the next season. This is great. And then they just like, oh yeah, we're giving you a Legacy of Nightmares. Yeah, that's and people are expecting so much more.
I mean, that's kind of what, like, not just Diablo, but a lot of games have become. Like, just give them a little something to hang on to. It doesn't have to be anything special. I mean, it's a little different for me than you, just because I mean, you grew up like, I think you started with Diablo 1, didn't you?
Yes,
Yeah, I came in at Diablo 3, so different experience for me.
You know how much I have invested into Diablo 2. And, well, I have a lot invested in Diablo 2. I used to play that growing up. Like, I've spent literally thousands of hours on that game. And I probably have 1,000 more or more on Diablo 3. I have a lot invested into it. And my whole thing is, maybe it's time to let Diablo 3 die, because I'm tired of being dragged along in these seasons. Like, when the themed seasons came out, I was ecstatic. I'm like, oh, they're gonna bring some cool like play mechanics into the seasons. But now they're doing stupid things. Like, one season was you had double goblin drops, which I mean, that's all right.
Yeah, that was nice, but
it's nice, but it didn't add any new mechanics to the game. Like, that's what I was expecting when they said themed seasons. I was expecting like how Path of Exile does it, where they have brand new mechanics every season.
I mean, that's why they're doing so well. I mean, they're doing a lot to change up every single season, and they're constantly adding new content for free. I mean,
so to me, I'm like, and please comment if you're watching this. Please comment in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Is it time to let Diablo 3 die?
Wow, I can't believe we're really like ending on that note. Should we let Diablo 3 die?
I mean, it's hard for me to say. It really is. It's a very somber question. Is it time to let Diablo 3 die? Or are we just going to keep reanimating the same old corpse?
Alright, I think it's time to end it there. However dreadful it is.
Which is what the Necromancer did, quite literally.
Alright, but this has been the two Aimless GeeKs podcasts with Geodmacus and Ken from K-Pole Gaming. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe, feel free to follow Ken, his link is also in the description, and feel free to join us next week.
And if the topics in this video of the whole gaming community got you down, go look up a video of puppies.
Alright folks, have a good one, I love you all, and like I said, see you next week. Bye.
Alright, have a good one guys.